I clocked you doing 51 in a 35, the officer said, her tone flat but not unkind. I pulled over in front of my own street, just a block from home, and let out a tired sigh. One more thing to add to a day already full of frustrations. My kid had spilled juice on my work laptop that morning. The meeting I prepped all week got canceled. And now, as I sat in the summer heat with my window halfway down, a young blonde officer stared down at me like I was the villain in a chase scene. I gave her my license and registration without argument. I wasn't even mad, just done. Her name tag read Officer Carson. She had that look, the kind police officers wear when they've heard every excuse, seen every lie, and still hold their chin high. But under the badge and the serious face, there was something else. A softness? No, more like curiosity. She stepped back to her cruiser and left me alone with my thoughts. And my guilt. Because as I sat there watching her in my rearview mirror, I realized I wasn't just upset about the ticket. I was upset about my marriage, about how my wife and I hadn't touched each other in weeks, how dinner at our house was mostly silence, how tired I was of pretending like the love hadn't faded. A tap on my window broke the spiral. I looked up. Officer Carson was back, holding a clipboard and a half smile. "You live here?" she asked, glancing toward the houses across the street. "Yeah," I said. "Third one on the left." She raised an eyebrow. "That your lawn with the inflatable dinosaur?" I chuckled despite myself. "Yeah, my kid insisted it stay up. Since last Halloween." She smiled for real then. Respect. Then she looked down at the ticket, paused, and hesitated. "You're married?" she asked quietly. I blinked. Yeah." She tapped the corner of the clipboard with her pen, nodded once, and then did something unexpected. She tore the ticket down the middle. "I was going to let you off with a warning," she said, "but then I thought, if you weren't married, I'd probably give you my number instead." My mouth opened. Nothing came out. She smiled again, this time with just a touch of mischief. "Relax, I'm not hitting on you. I just thought you needed a win today." I couldn't help it. I laughed. It was short, rough, tired, but it was real. She nodded, stepped back toward her car, and then added over her shoulder, "Whatever's weighing you down, you don't have to carry it forever." And just like that, she was gone. I sat there in my car, engine humming, heart racing for reasons I didn't fully understand. It wasn't about attraction. It wasn't even about her kindness. It was the fact that for the first time in months, someone saw me. Not the exhausted husband, not the dad or the commuter or the guy who left dishes in the sink. Just me. That night, I went home and looked at my wife across the dinner table. She was scrolling her phone. I was stirring cold pasta. I said, "Do you think we're happy?" She looked up, startled. We talked for 2 hours, cried for 3. That conversation changed everything. It didn't fix us overnight, but it cracked the silence. 3 weeks later, we started marriage counseling. 6 months after that, we went away for a weekend. Just the two of us. First time in 5 years. I never saw Officer Carson again, but I still think about that moment often. Because sometimes the biggest changes in life don't come from dramatic events. They come from quiet grace, from someone pausing long enough to remind you who you are. And that day, she reminded me I was still worth noticing. Before we wrap up, tell us in the comments where you're watching from. If this story moved you, hit that like button, share your thoughts, and subscribe to be part of this growing community of dreamers and doers. Your next life-changing story might be just one click away.